What's up, everybody? This is Lance. I am the host of the Health and Real Estate Podcast. And my guest this week is Dennis Mack. Super cool dude. I met him about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago at Native Spring Oasis. It's this kind of retreat in kind of middle of California, but it's beautiful, beautiful land. And I met him there with uh, the Purium people, the Purium fam, which we'll kind of go over in a little bit. But it was just great meeting Dennis. He's an awesome dude. And over the course of that year and a half, 2 years I've known him, I've been following him on Instagram. And he just posts the coolest things, the most motivating things. And so I'm excited to dive into that. Tons of stuff to cover, from going vegan, your health journey, doing Purium superfoods, doing mostly fruit based, which I'm starting to lean into, and all kinds of fun stuff and everything you offer. So let's just get started. And do you kind of want to talk about your health journey?
Wow, you want to start right from the beginning? I kind of went. I've been vegan now 7 years. It'll be 7 years in October. Um, I had a lot. I was dealing with a lot of inflammation pain, shoulder pain, back pain, persistent shoulder pain, and I went to the doctors and they prescribed me OxyContin. I did that OxyContin one night. And I swore I would never ever do it again. And there was a guy that I was following, and he had a transformation himself via a whole food, plant-based vegan diet. So I thought, you know, I'm just so injured and in so much pain, and I'm like 46 years old, and I'm like, this is not the way my life is supposed to go, right? There's got to be a better way. So I was like, let me try this vegan. I hired this personal trainer and literally went cold turkey vegan overnight and hired this guy. And literally within 2 weeks of me being on a whole food plant-based vegan diet, I mean, cheese kind of came over the course of a year, was eliminated, but the pain was gone from my body. And it really, really just opened my eyes to lifestyle and food and the impact of food that we consume. And that was the catalyst for my transformation. I was about 230 pounds at that particular time. And I knew in my heart that big things were going to change for me because um, my wife at that time, I asked her to take a picture of me, and I have that picture. I was 46 years old. I was in a lot of pain. I mean, I came from a natural bodybuilding background, but the pain and the inflammation that I had, I stopped working out because I couldn't work out anymore. And that really, really frustrated me because I was passionate about exercise and working out. So, it was just the big changes from that one decision that I made. Right. And, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of veganism and learned all about, I kind of mostly started out, um, you know, with some of the processed meats, like I did the Beyond Meat and more Beyond Meat, but I don't do that. It's very rare. I might do that like twice a year, in a pinch if you're at a restaurant. It's the only thing that they have, but I try to stay away from those things. But yeah, it's been incredible. And as I've learned and as I've gotten more educated, I just progressively got cleaner and cleaner and more educated with my nutrition. Now I'm like 70-80% fruit now. Purium superfoods, and then I have a lot of I have a hearty salads, with some tofu or tempeh on occasion. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now. There's a lot in between there yeah, it's been incredible.
Definitely, I love that. And when I first went vegan, it was for the animals, and I was a complete junk food vegan. Like before Purium, I was like all junk food, processed foods. I would literally eat Taco Bell because I didn't cook before I went vegan, and I was the only vegan in like my friends and family groups. I had to slowly learn to cook. But I would go to Taco Bell like 3, 4 times a week and just get bean burritos, and it was bad. And I would get all
Yeah.
the meat alternatives, all the Beyond Burgers, the Gardein, but I stay away from that stuff for the most part now. Maybe once or twice a month, I'll have like a nice processed burger, vegan burger, of course. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, now I'm very, very highly whole food, plant based, superfoods, fruit, and all that stuff, and like 20% junk food. So, so you originally,
I'm inspiring you if you're
yes,
going,
he has
brother.
been. I've been following his Instagram and all the fruit and all this. I'm like, oh, and I feel so much better after eating fruit. Before, I would never really thought of fruit as a full meal, like for lunch. I'm like, well, people are just eating watermelon for lunch? What? And now I love it. I love eating it for lunch. It's so delicious. And then you feel great afterwards. It's so light and hydrating. And then you don't have like that afternoon slump after you eat a fully big cooked meal.
And so it's so simple too,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just, if you're stuck, some people are like, oh, I got to cook and I got to do all this. And it's like, just have a bowl of grapes. It's sitting in the fridge or sitting like it's ready to go, right?
Yeah.
I had watermelon for lunch. I have mono meal fruit for dinner all the time. I'll have jackfruit dinner all the time. Yeah, it's just makes life so simple, right?
Mm. And your body just easily digests it. It's so simple. And you just feel really good afterwards.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you originally went vegan, whole food plant-based because you were dealing with a lot of inflammation, shoulder injury. You said after a few weeks, it was like almost gone. And then did you start to like dive deeper into veganism, and do you have other reasons now why you're vegan?
Yeah. Once you start to dive into veganism, I quickly realized how aligned I was, with the environmental aspect of it and then the animal cruelty part of it. And it brought up a memory for me, of when I was, I watched Dominion and Earthlings and on all of these, animal abuse, movies, right? And yeah, it's incredibly sad, what happens to the animals. But I had this instant when I was a kid, and I went to my dad had a friend who was a farmer, and we went to this farm, and the kids were playing, and I was playing with the kids, and then all of a sudden he grabbed a couple of chickens and put the chicken on a block and chopped the chicken's head off, and the chicken is running around. And the kids are chasing it and laughing, and I've never seen this, and I was just like, this is not funny at all. I was like totally traumatized by it. Then he grabbed and he uh, grabbed a pig out of the barn and barrel hugged it. And he had like a swing set, and on the swing set was a big hook. And he grabbed, barrel hugged the pig and just dropped the pig's neck onto that hook. And that's the way that the pig bled out. So, you know, that I kind of forgot that memory for a lot of my life, but when I started this memory came back up for me, and I was like, holy man, I'm definitely aligned with this because that was a traumatic experience for me. So yeah, so I'm definitely aligned with all the reasons for veganism. I mean, health was the catalyst for it, but I participate in some animal activist events on occasion. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Not as much as you do, but
Thank you for sharing that story. I feel like that's
yeah.
a very powerful story because like they hide all the animal cruelty from us. Like I was completely unaware of it. I was so disconnected from it, but then once you know, you can't forget it or you can't unsee it. And it was funny. So I originally went vegan for the environment. I watched Cowspiracy, and then I dug deeper, and that led me to like the animal rights and the slaughterhouse footage and factory farm footage. And it is a million times worse than anyone could ever imagine. And then lastly, I learned the health benefits. I was like just mind blown. I was like, wait,
You did it the opposite way of me.
we're doing this to the animals. We're destroying the environment, and it's not even healthy for us. Actually, it's unhealthy for us. It was the trifecta. All three of my passions is like animals, environment, health. And so it was just a no brainer. But yeah, I was definitely junk food vegan. And then, so how'd your health journey transition? Like, I know you went kind of whole food, plant based, and now you're like 70% fruit based. So what was that journey like and what were the like stepping stones in between to leading?
Yeah, you know, I was always kind of eating healthy previous. So, it was a lot of just switches to tempeh, tofu, organic tempeh. But I was doing some of the mock meats in that first year. And cheese was kind of the last fish and cheese was kind of the last for me to go. And that kind of happened over the course of that first year. I switched to goat cheese and feta cheese, and they say that helps to in the transition period. So I was able to extricate myself from those foods. Um, yeah. Um, and then, kind of a couple years later, I got introduced to Purium Superfoods. Um, and started on a ULT, Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, and just fell in love with the superfoods, the convenience of the superfoods. Um, and prior, also the kind of happening in this is I was on anxiety and depression medication for almost 30 years of my life. And when I healed myself of my pains, I was like, well, maybe I can heal myself of this anxiety and depression that I had. So I started to titrate myself off of the medications that I was on for 25 that were very debilitating. Um, I had a series of panic attacks that left me in the hospital. So this was also a goal and an aspiration of mine to um, titrate myself from these medications. And it's been five years since I've been medication free.
That's
I don't even go to the doctor anymore. When you live this lifestyle, you don't even need a doctor. You are your own doctor. So it's a beautiful thing.
awesome. And do you kind of want to dive into what the ULT is, the ultimate lifestyle transformation a little bit and maybe share your experience and then I could share a little bit about my experience as well.
Sure. So the ultimate lifestyle transformation, it's providing um, high nutrient dense, organic, regeneratively grown superfoods, helping to support digestive rest, which is something that most people don't get. Providing sleep support, um, providing essential amino acid support with the super amino 23, which is a high efficiency, a highly bioavailable, a high quality protein source. And then you got the biomedic, which is detoxing glyphosate. So 95% of the produce that's in our grocery store now is GMO, is genetically modified, is sprayed with glyphosate, with Roundup. So, Purium was the first company to come out with a detox product that was able to remove glyphosate in the blood by up to 74% in 6 weeks. Um, so it's just and then there's the parasite cleanse that's included in that as well. So it's really just hitting your health from all angles and really just bringing homeostasis back to the body. I've helped and healed so many people, type 2 diabetes, um, MS. I mean, it's just there's there's so many lifestyle and chronic diseases that we are, you know, that people are living with, and people don't realize that they can make a simple lifestyle change and their whole life can change. Uh, so yeah, I love the superfoods. I mean, I just did a 90-day ULT. I kind of a couple of months ago, just because that's kind of where I started. And I was like, I gotta go back, as I kind of went. I did the ULT and I did that for a bunch of, and then I kind of went into some of their other superfood products, the Craxel Corella, Kamut blend. Like I like the some of the darker greens. Um, so I do that. The dark berry protein, I love that. I every morning is a berry smoothie for me now, man, with dark berry protein, and then whatever frozen berries I got, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, whatever. It goes in there. And yeah, I put watermelon in my one this morning because I had some extra watermelon. So, and it was really good. I really like that. So I'm always like kind of mixing superfoods and coming up with different blends. And I love the cocoa. I like some of the performance related superfoods as well. The cocoa hydrate, the can't beat this. Um, the super xanthan. I love that one. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's more that I'm missing.
Yeah, I have a handful of favorites. It's hard when people ask, like, what's your favorite? I was like, oh, it's tough to choose. But if I had,
Yeah,
I don't have one favorite. I probably have a top three or top five. I love the apothecary, that little nightcap. It gives me the
mm,
sleep so well because I used to struggle with falling asleep. It would take me like
yep,
30 minutes to an hour, and then I would always wake up throughout the night. So that helps with my deep sleep. And then I love the taste. I love that tart, just sweet taste. And that kind of kicks all other sweet cravings. I love that. The Can't Beat This is also one of my favorites. I used to be addicted to energy drinks. I used to drink 1 to 2 Monsters or Red Bulls a day, and I haven't had an energy drink in years. And then the dark berry protein, that's a daily thing. I love mixing some frozen fruit in with it. Oh, it's so good, so good. That's one of my
yep,
favorites. Yeah, but yeah, one thing that with the Purium and their superfoods, I heard a quote that Dave Sandoval said. He's the founder of Purium, and it. I'm gonna mess this up, but it was something like, our foods are 1 in a million. And I was like, wait, what does that even mean? And he kind of broke it down, but it's like when you add everything they do, there's literally like only 1 in a million% of foods or companies do this. And it's like one is organic, then you layer that on regeneratively grown and regenerative agriculture. In the US, that's like 2% or less of all foods are grown regeneratively. Then organic, but then they take it one level deeper. I forget the exact certification, but it's like glyphosate residue free certification, which is next level. Like organic should just be like the standard, the bare minimum, but then they take it one step farther. Then they also test for heavy metals, and only like 1% of companies test for that. And then it's plastic free, which is like less than 1% of companies are that. And there was one other thing. Oh, and then there's superfoods, and it's like less than 5% of foods are superfoods. And there's like a couple other things. I was like, wow. And when you add all those together, like Purium checks all the boxes and like no other company does. And I was just like, wow, okay, that's why when you eat these foods, these superfoods, they put you in a super mood. Like
Yeah.
it's really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first started, I did that myself. I created a checklist of all the things that were checking, Purium was checking boxes for me. Right. And, it's just a no brainer, um, to, with these superfoods. I love them. Yeah, it's great, man.
No, and then just the convenience of it. Like I love juice, and before Purium, like years before Purium, I bought a juicer, and I thought I'd juice every day. After juicing like 2, 3 times, I was like, nope. It was just so much work, so much cleanup. And yeah, you have to mix like 3, 4, 5 different, fruits and veggies. It was just convenient. I don't want to spend 30 minutes making one juice, right? With the Purium, you just add it into the water, shake it up, literally 30 seconds, good to go. So that's one thing I love about it. And I I didn't have the biggest transformation on the ULT or Purium, because when I was first introduced to it, I was with a lot of people in Belize, and a lot of them were like, "Oh, it helped me with my asthma. I don't have asthma anymore." Another one was like, "It helped me with eczema. It helped my autoimmune. It helped get me off, just like you, medications, and it helped this, it helped that." And they're all like, "You should do it." I'm like, "That sounds awesome, but I don't have any of that." Like, I didn't think it was for me because I was just like normally healthy. But they're like, "No, this will take your health to the next level." So I was like, "Whatever, I'll do it." You guys are all just like annoyingly healthy, like just glowing and so healthy and happy. I was like, "I'll do it." And I would say I got about 20, 30% better. I went from good to great. But a couple things it helped me do was after the my first ULT, I never drank alcohol again. So I've been alcohol free like 4 years. It got me off energy drinks. And for me, the biggest thing that it helped me with was it completely flip-flopped my cravings, because I always craved the junk food, the processed food, the Beyond Burgers. And now I crave the healthy stuff, the fruit. And that's the old to me, that was the ultimate like health hack, is like flipping your cravings. So now I'm not going against my cravings, I'm going with my cravings. I'm craving the healthy stuff. And it just makes it 10 times easier to be healthy when you crave healthy foods. So doing the ULT kind of restructured my like taste palette and my cravings. And that's the ultimate hack in my opinion.
Yeah, I had the same exact experience. Um, you know, my palate changed huge, and now, like, if something happened and somebody said, I'm going to be dead in 2 weeks, I would be going to these beautiful, healthy vegan restaurants and consuming all the best healthy food. Like, it's just what my palate is, just what I crave now. Um, yeah, yeah, it's really incredible how, Purium can support somebody in their efforts to eat more healthy and help with that, it's the convenience and help with that transition period to eating more healthy food.
Yeah, and now not just do we crave the healthy food, but then afterwards you feel amazing. You don't feel sluggish, or like you don't have a food baby or whatever, or go in a food coma, and you feel great. Or do you have energy? It's like it's just a no-brainer. Yeah, and then another thing. So and then now, like when I do eat unhealthy, I don't feel as bad. So my diet before Purium, it was like 80% junk food and processed food, and probably 20% like healthy food. But it just completely flip-flopped that. I'm like 80-20 now. And as the months go by, I'm leaning more towards like 85-15. And now it just created a much better balance where I don't feel guilty if I do eat a Beyond Burger or something processed, but I instantly regret it after it's like 5 minutes of great taste pleasure, and then it's like an hour or two of just like, oh, why did I do that?
Well, your body becomes very sensitive.
Yeah.
Once you eat healthy and you start to detox your body, you give yourself some digestive rest, you start to be sensitive to these foods, right? So, you have a Beyond Meat burger and it's like, holy man, that is some heavy stuff, right? And yeah, so that's that's something that I noticed for me as well. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and another thing they do is the parasite cleanse, and that was something I never really heard about before them. And you always hear in other countries, like Mexico, they're like, "Oh, anytime you go to Mexico, make sure you do a parasite cleanse when you come back." And what I'm learning is parasites are everywhere, not just other countries, but in the U.S., they don't talk about parasites at all, and people don't uh, do parasite cleanses commonly, where I think you should do a parasite cleanse like once or twice a year. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm doing parasite cleansing 2 or 3 times a year. And man, I had, we have parasites in us for years and we don't even realize it, and they're really robbing us of our health. I had a couple 24-inch tapeworms come
Mm.
out of me last year. Yeah, and I have the pictures to prove it. So yeah. It's interesting though. There's a physical detox with parasites, but what I noticed also is there's an emotional detox. When those parasites are coming out, um, a lot of the negative thoughts you might have may be a result of the parasites that you have in your body, right? But those kind of thoughts get reversed as your parasite cleansing, as the parasites are coming out of you. So um, there was I had to pull back on one of my parasite cleanses the one time because it was I got super emotional. And so, there's always that implication with parasite cleansing that you have to pay attention to. Um, but yeah, we absolutely need to be parasite cleansing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
And
like
I'm sure I had those, and it's from animal products, right? You can get them from unclean produce as well, but fish, I was eating like I was a big sushi guy, so I ate a lot of sushi, that's where a lot of parasites are. So um yeah, yeah, it's definitely our health protocol that we need now has changed as our environment has changed. We're exposed to so many toxins through geoengineering, the beauty products that we have, the heavy metals, right? So all of these things are attributing to our poor health. So, um, the ULT combined with the parasite cleanse, combined with a heavy metal detox, you're kind of hitting all parts of what I believe a detox needs now in our current global environment, and what we are exposed to on a daily basis. And then of course the glyphosate that it's ubiquitous now. I mean, they sprayed 4 billion pounds of it last year alone, right? So it's and it's a water soluble toxin. It's a neurotoxin. So, it's in the land, it's in the water, it's everywhere. So we definitely need to be detoxing that, even if you're not consuming organic or or if you're not consuming glyphosate ridden GMO products, right? So yeah, I believe our the protocols around health have been changing as our environment has been getting worse and worse, and the food has been getting worse and worse.
yeah, 100%. No matter how clean you eat, you still need to actively detox just because the world we live in is so toxic. It's in our air, it's in our rainwater. it's in our water. You can't escape it at this point. So you actually need to be on offense to actively detox and on defense to not, purposefully eat those type of foods. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just crazy world we're living in now. Yeah, Purium helped you and I both kind of really catapult into a healthy lifestyle. But now you're like mostly fruit based, like you said, 75 or 70% fruit based. Tell me
Yeah.
more about that. I'm starting to learn more about that and get into it. And everyone's always like, first tell me that, and then I have a couple questions.
Yeah. You know, I kind of remember I used to see, these guys, I would see these influencers and there were these guys and they were saying that they were eating fruit, and they had muscles, they were jacked, and they were usually in the tropics somewhere. And I always saw these guys and I go, those guys are on steroids. Like they can't be like that. And then, I started to eat fruit and eat more and more of it. And, I'm able to sustain muscle. Um, the fruit is it's high vibrational. It's electron dominant. It helps to support, it's astringent. So it's helping to cleanse and detoxify our lymphatic system, which is a lot of the root cause of diseases when somebody's they're eating a lot of acidic foods and their lymphatic system gets stagnated. So the fruit helps to pull on our lymphatic system and cleanse and detoxify and just making sure that bodily system is functioning properly, right? So it's just the fruit is just so powerful and I just feel so good the more and more that I ate. So I just started to incorporate it more and more into my lifestyle. And I'm able to, I went to the gym this morning and on my way home, like typically my old pattern in the gym, I would have carved up for my pre-workout. I went in fasted. I would have had a huge protein meal post workout, right? I had watermelon, right? And the super amino 23. But, it's just, people don't realize the power of fruit, and fruit is really demonized
Mm,
because, you know, if I believe, if more and more people were eating fruit, there would be less and less people who were sick, and that would not support big pharma, right? And this is another reason why I think protein is pushed so heavily. It's very profitable for the animal agricultural industry. So, these animal agriculture industry and big pharma kind of work hand in hand, right? To make sure that the people are eating a lot of protein and are sick. And, there's a lot of money in death and disease. So, when you are able to extricate yourself from the system and become your own doctor, everything changes. Everything changes. And I just want to inspire other people of what is possible based on, their nutrition changes that they can make.
definitely. I mean, you've inspired me to eat more fruit. And I couldn't agree more. They do demonize fruit. So there's kind of two questions that I hear the most, and that I had at the beginning when I wasn't knowledgeable about fruit. But one is they demonize fruits, the sugar. So do you want to talk
Mhm.
on that? They say, oh, there's too much sugar in it, and
Yeah. So refined sugar and fruit sugar. So fruit sugar is fructose, but there's so much in fruit. There's carbs, there's protein, there's fats. I mean, not much of those. There's electrolytes, there's antioxidants, there's polyphenols, there's astringency, there's fiber, there's hydration. I mean, the list goes on, right? Fruit sugar is medicine, refined sugar is poison. They are completely and 100% different. And it is completely advantageous for big pharma to confuse people about fruit sugars, right? So people think that, fruit sugar is the same as refined sugar and I got to stay away from it. And then if you're not eating fruit, you're not detoxing your body, you're not helping your lymphatic system. All of these things start to surface and you become sicker that much faster. So, there's just so many health benefits to fruit and it's so unfortunate that it's demonized, that fruit sugar is demonized because it's just such a simple thing. I mean, you can walk around in the tropics. If you walk around in the tropics for long enough, sooner or later, a piece of fruit is going to fall out of a tree and hit you in the head, right? And it's going to go, eat me, right? Like, eat me, right? Like, it's just nature is so beautiful. And, we have hands to eat fruit. We don't have claws to rip and tear like a carnivore. We have hands to softly grab fruit out of a tree, right? So, it's just people need to learn.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Is there's a difference between refined sugar, which that's not good, and then natural sugar from fruit, real organic food. Completely different. So I'm never scared of fruit from or sugar from fruit, and I'll eat it all day and not worried at all. And then the other question you kind of get a lot, especially if you're trying to build muscle on a mostly fruit based diet, is protein. Like, how do you build muscle mostly eating fruit? And what I'm kind of learning, it's not really about the grams of protein you get. It's more so what's in the protein is the amino acids. That's what actually helps build muscles. Am I right on that? Or
It's not protein that builds muscles. It's the amino acids that come from the essential amino acids that come from that protein. So all plants have all nine essential amino acids. This is something that people don't realize. That all plants have all nine essential amino acids. But if you just eat one fruit, right, then you might be low in certain numbers of those amino acids. But as long as you're eating a diversity of plants, they say a minimum of 30 plants a week. So as long as you're getting a diversity of plants, you're meeting your essential amino acids needs. And I don't believe, a lot of what is popularized, is a very, very high protein diet because it feeds those corporations, right? So I kind of rest at around a 0.4 grams per pound of lean body mass. So I'm like 165 pounds. So say my lean body mass is 150. So 150 times zero point 0.4 is like 60 grams of protein a day. And that's, I'm getting that through my fruit, but also I'm getting that through the super amino 23, which is a super high efficiency protein source, right? They give that to people who have had liver or kidney transplants because they need a protein source that is not taxing on their liver and their kidneys. And the super amino is almost 100% net nitrogen utilization. So it's a very efficient and clean protein source. So I'm getting my 60 grams, but they're very clean protein sources, very bioavailable amino acid profile in that super amino 23, which is, it's a game changer. It's a MAP protein, master amino acid pattern protein. That's what it is. It's a game changer, right?
how many are you taking a day? The super amino.
Surprisingly, I do between 5 and 10 a
Okay,
day.
that's
Yeah. If I have a big exercise activity day, then I'm doing 10. But typically it's 5. And I like to do my super aminos just before I work out. So I'll do 5 just before I work out. And you know, if I'm doing something else that particular day, I know I'm going to get some more exercise, then I'll do another. But when I did my ULT, I was doing 10 a day.
Mhm.
When I did the because that's what it's recommended in the ULT is you do 10 a day. So,
Definitely.
and I have my clients on, you know, there's the flex foods with the Purium ULT, but I invite my clients to open up fruit and Purium until dinner. So it's fruit, any fruit. I don't care how much. We're not counting calories, and not calories in, calories out. I don't care. Fruit is a perfectly designed by nature. Like you could put 3 big bowls of grapes in front of you, right? You would eat one bowl of grapes and you would go, okay, I've had enough,
Mhm.
right? You put 3 bowls of chips in front of you and you're going to eat all 3 bowls. You're going to eat all 3 bowls because it's the perfect combination of sugar, oil, and salt in there they're highly palatable, they're addictive, right? So, it's about extricating yourself from these foods, right? And the superfoods and fruit just help you to transition to make that transition and eat cleaner.
Definitely. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. And that is my biggest kryptonite when I go to a Mexican restaurant and they bring out, unlimited chips and salsa. I can't contain myself. I'll eat like 2, 3 bowls. I'm like, can we get one more? And I'm like almost full by the time my food gets there. That's because those chips, they're high in nutrient, or I'm sorry, high in calories and low in nutrients. So your body's getting all these calories but no nutrients. So that's why you're still hungry. And because it's addicting, it's like, all right, we need nutrients, not calories. But with fruit, you get all of that, which is amazing. And with Purium and all that. And I try to do that as well. I try to shoot for like raw till dinner. So I mostly do Purium, fruit, power shake, whatever, till dinner time. And then that's when I eat like a giant cooked whole food plant-based meal. And that's what works for me, and I do feel I do get the food coma after that, but it's like 6, 7 at night, I'm getting ready, relaxing, so it works for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's kind of my lifestyle is fruit Imperium.
Mhm.
And then I'm usually raw most of the days, but I will have like a hearty salad, hearty smoothie, like a smoothie bowl with some granola in it sometimes. But yeah, that's where, and that's the kind of the lifestyle I like to try to get people to is Purium and fruit until dinner, and then if they're on meat, right, then maybe we're going plant-based 4 days a week and then slowly trying to grow that the amount of whole foods that they're consuming because it does take time to transition. It took me time, and I know it takes time to transition the palate and all of that. So
Definitely. And I wanted to say one other thing you kind of touched on with your clients during the ULT. You told them they could eat as much fruit as they want. So that's kind of a misconception about this ultimate lifestyle transformation program is it's not a starvation diet or
yeah,
starvation program. If you're hungry, eat, but eat the healthy stuff, eat the healthy meals. And they even have like a healthy meal tracker. Like, don't go out and eat like a bag of Doritos. We're not telling you that, but you could eat unlimited fruit or carrots and hummus. So if you're hungry, eat. So that's
yeah,
just kind of one misconception that people think. I'm glad.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, fruit Imperium, brother. That's where it's at.
uh, awesome. So yeah, that's kind of your health journey, and now you're striving to help people have similar health journeys. So what all do
Yeah.
you kind of offer, and where could people find you?
Yeah, so I'm a regenerative health practitioner, a personal trainer. I'm a new yoga instructor, um, breathwork instructor, plant-based nutritionist. So, I'm working right now on my website and my offerings. But I'm supporting people currently with their period of ULT, and just helping people to lead more healthy lifestyles, right? Transition to a more healthy lifestyle. Um, disease reversal is in there as well with regenerative health, right? So, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Where can people follow you?
I'm on Instagram, eternal underscore vitality underscore wellness, is my Instagram. My website will be the same, eternalvitalitywellness.com. And then I'm on Facebook under Dennis Smith.
Awesome. And I'll put your Instagram link in the show notes. And
Okay.
yeah, definitely go follow Dennis. He's very inspiring. He motivates me to eat more fruit, just live more healthily, be more active. He always has awesome content. And also, you are in amazing shape for your age. Do you want to tell people how old you are?
Yeah.
I was blown away.
I'm 53. I'm
Uh,
53. And
3 years young and getting younger.
yeah, I had a meeting with a guy yesterday. It was a Zoom meeting, right? And then we got talking about age at the end, and he asked me how he was dumbfounded when I told him I was 53, and he's like, "No way!" I thought like he was 39. He thought I was younger than him. So, I mean, the lifestyle works, man. I'm telling you, like, I've been reversing my age since I've incorporated and implemented this lifestyle. The fruit, the superfoods is amazing on our lymphatic system. It's cleansing. It's great for our skin, our biggest organ in our body, right? So we have to make sure, we have our four elimination pathways open, and the fruit just helps to do that. And, your skin just starts to shine, man. It's incredible.
Yes, definitely. I'm hoping to look like you when I'm 53, and if I keep doing Fruit Imperium, I'm sure hopefully I'll get there. But man, everyone go follow Dennis. I'll put his Instagram link in the show notes. And is there anything else you want to cover that we didn't touch?
Um, no, I think we touched on most of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
Well, to wrap up every podcast episode, I do a joke off where we each tell a corny dad joke. So
All right.
I'll let you
All
go
right.
first.
Well, my daughter's in Brazil. She goes to Brazil every summer. But just before she left, um, she told me this joke. What did the vegan sushi say to the bumblebee?
Did the vegan sushi say to I don't
Wasabi.
wasabi. That's a good one.
That was beautiful coming from my daughter. I just loved it. She didn't say vegan sushi, but I added the vegan.
I like that. That's good. I like that's a really good one. Wasabi. All right, mine's not as good as that, but here we go. Why do oranges do so well in school? Because they concentrate.
Ah, of course. Yeah.
Had to try to do it,
Well,
but I wanted to try to do a fruit joke because I knew.
there you go. How funny.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed this. This was a blast, and that is a wrap.
1, 2,